Good afternoon, Mr. Mudit
Good
Mehta.
afternoon, Sally.
Mr. Mudit Mehta, you are a realtor and broker of record in Elixir Real Estate Inc. and you serve as a director in Brampton Real Estate Board, and you have been training realtors and have been an instructor on the Brampton Real Estate Board since 2017.
Right.
So thank you so much for doing this interview.
Welcome.
I wanted to ask you, the first question is, why did you get into real estate?
Good question. So Sadhana, it's just so happened that, both myself and my wife, I used to be in IT services 7 years back. And just so happened that when we started earning here in this country, whatever investments we did, they happened in real estate. So just by virtue of that, I happened to purchase 2-3 properties. And then we never invested in RRSP. And just that helped us and gave me insight about this business. And when I worked here with other agents, I found that there is a vacuum in this field. So it looked to me that 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 is the service level what is happening here. So I thought to myself that if someone comes in to this domain and they bring 9 out of 10 or 12 out of 10 on the table, they can make a space for themselves. And that was the seed which came to my mind around 9 years ago. And then it took time because my previous profile was a little bit time consuming and very demanding. So I took more than 1.5 years to complete my courses, and then finally I took up lunch and I resigned from my previous role and came to real estate. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're mentoring a lot of new realtors, and many of them come from different backgrounds. So what do you think are the essential qualities a good realtor should possess?
So I tell it to everyone, there are 3 things which are by far most important when anybody wants to become a salesperson and a realtor at that. The first thing is integrity. They should be absolutely straightforward and honest in their dealing. So, because this is a high dollar value transaction, there is a lot of trust involved when you work with clients. They should be absolutely assured and aware that Mudit or Sadhana or Ajay, they will be doing best in my back also. What is in my best interest, they will do that decision making. And that's the most important trait any realtor should have. Without that integrity in them, it's very difficult to survive in this, at least in our domain. You can do average business, but you cannot become a top producer. So for becoming a top producer, you have to take care of your clients, right? Mm-hmm. And then second thing is hard work. In our business, there is a lot of moving parts, and it's very dynamic. Every day you are having multiple things to take care of. So you cannot afford to lose sight of a particular client. So you have to do everything for every client in the best possible way without losing anything. So it's kind of like I always think like our job as kind of a juggler, where you cannot afford to drop any ball. So you are dealing with 3 people. You showed a couple of properties to a client in the morning, so they liked one property. And then you were working with another client in the afternoon, they liked 2 properties. Then you are working with another client in the evening and they liked one of the properties. So now all these 3 clients, they are looking forward to you to send them a good, awesome analysis on what they liked, so that they can move forward if they want to place an offer on the table. The client who looked in the morning with you, they don't really care about where you were in the afternoon or in the evening, but they are now looking for the property they liked. Mm-hmm. So when you come back home in the evening, you need to spend time, at least half an hour for each of the properties, to send and do a due diligence for those properties and then share it back with your clients. And they are looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. So it's like whole day you were out on the field, and then you come back and you are doing that very intensive calculation and analysis of all those 4 properties, and then reach out back to them. So all of these things, it's day in and day out in our business. And that's where you stand out and distinguish yourself as a good agent. So you follow through your commitments, right, and you do that. So integrity, hard work, and then third thing is competency. In this business, there are very, very fine nuanced things when you work as a good salesperson. You need to train yourself so hard that when you sit across the table with your clients, be it sellers or buyers or investors, they get value which they expect from an agent. Unless you do that, unless you train yourself, unless you teach yourself all those skills, you will never be in a position to provide that value add. And unfortunately, people think that in this business you get a license and then you are doing well, you will going to do well. So these are the three things which any realtor who wants to become good top producer, they should keep in mind. As long as these three things they understand, then they'll be supremely successful.
So there are a lot of brokerages in the province of Ontario, and many of them are concentrated in GTA. They've been around for 10, 20, 30 years.
Right.
And you've gone ahead and started your own brokerage. So what prompted you to take this decision?
Yeah, it's just that Sadhana, in my training experience, in my working with my clients in past, and working in my previous office, talking to the agents, they giving feedback about what is happening, and standing in hundreds of open houses. What I have learned is that there is a little bit bad connotation of the word realtor, and it pains me when I hear and I understand that people don't give so much value to their agent, so they feel they don't deserve what they get. But in my experience, what I have seen is if you have an able realtor on your side, be it an investment or a sell or a buy, they can make ton of difference in the outcome of the whole transaction. It could be in terms of huge negotiation and getting the right property at the right price. It could be in terms of advice, which property to buy, where to buy, what they should look based on their aspirations and family goals. It could be in terms of entire smoothness of the transaction. It could be in terms of getting the best value which their property can bear when they want to sell it on the market. So there is a lot of value add, and all of that value add comes from the training. One should invest themselves hard to train themselves so that they are in a position where they can give that value add to the clients. So my whole vision, the thought process of behind Elixir was to create a brand where people can be assured that if they are with Elixir, they are taken care of.
They're sorted.
They are sorted. I want to dent that image that realtors are not good. We want to create a team of supremely abled agents who take care of their clients start to finish, and they stand for their clients, and they make out difference in the outcomes of real estate transactions and negotiations. And that's what I have been doing for last 7 years, and now I just want to replicate myself and try to create a army of people who are very, very abled in their job.
That's fantastic. What were the challenges you faced when you started this business? I mean, not just from we have two aspects. One is when you got into real estate and started your own business, and the next is when you decided to open your own brokerage. If you could talk about the set of challenges you faced in both circumstances.
It was very new when I started as an agent initially. I'll tell you about that. So there I saw that there was some deficiency in the training component that's how I am built. Like I try to learn whatever I'm getting into, the absolutely nitty-gritties of that, and then be in a position when I'm dealing with people, it should not come that I'm raw, I'm green, I don't know my business, so I just want to learn. So there was a gap which I saw when I started in real estate, that it's not a formal training or a step by step training. So but I wanted to learn, so I took as many trainings as possible, paid trainings, when I started in real estate. I wanted to ensure that I know enough so that I can provide value add to my people, and that helped. So all possible designations in real estate I took because I wanted to ensure that whatever I can get from the trainings, formal trainings, it'll help me in helping my people. So I did that, and then when I started our brokerage, it was 2 years ago, Elixir. So there was a lot of new softwares, tools, technologies, and how the back-end support works for any brokerage operation. So all those things I wanted to learn, and I wanted to deploy best of the tools here. So right from the start in Elixir, we took the best, industry best softwares for payment processing, and brokerage back-end operations, so that we can scale when time comes. And that was a good decision. So all those investments paid off, and then we are all set to become and grow, God willing. And so far the team has been awesome, and they are producing very well.
Okay.
And I am getting good response from the training and the time investment what I am doing to build our office.
Okay.
So and then usual things, and then other challenge what especially in Elixir, which was that to build this office, so it took 8 months with the permit process from the city of Mississauga, and building and contractors and so many moving variables of different.
And also the pandemic.
Pandemic was in between, so there was a shortage of labor. However, finally all said and done, so after 8.5 months we were able to complete this and formally open this 1.5 months ago, and it really it's good. Now we have something to showcase.
Okay.
Our first location.
Fantastic. So right now there's a lot of uncertainty about the market and the direction it's taking.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give for buyers, first-time home buyers, sellers, and investors?
So Sadhana, here you would have seen, like, I try to publish a monthly publication for all of my contact base and people at large, and there we try to analyze the data every month, what TREP produces based on the sales of previous month. And right now market has saturated quite a lot, and it is almost 25% saturation in last 5 months what we have seen here in GTA, and pretty much same is the story across GTA. And especially in the last month, the only outliers were Richmond Hill and Oakville, where the prices in fact increased from what we observed in June 2022. But apart from Richmond Hill and Oakville, all other municipalities, there was a saturation further in July data point in last 6 months. So the prices currently where we stand are almost what we had in July and August 2021. So 1 year worth of appreciation has gone out, and that's where we stand right now. So from standpoint of people or families who are looking to buy their first home in Canada, there are a lot of opportunities, because currently it is predominantly a buyer's market.
Yeah.
So you can negotiate on deals, you can put inspection conditions. If there is something which is coming out in inspection which is finance consuming or has some money associated with it, you can always bring back your offer on the table and negotiate on those. So a lot of opportunities are there in this market, and especially people who are looking to buy for their own residence, they are having a long time horizon for their investment. So they will be there for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And certainly with the intake of immigration here in GTA especially, there is a lot of emphasis. And in fact in Canada also, when immigration happens, people come to other parts of Canada, but mostly they end up flying and coming to GTA because of the jobs. There are a lot of job opportunities in this area. So all of us know that 5 years from now, 8 years from now, 10 years from now, because real estate is becoming more and more scarce, and that's where the prices will go further up. So if a person is looking with a long-term horizon, they will be fine. But for people who are looking for a 6 months exit or 10 months exit or 1 year exit in their investment strategy, they should really ensure that when they buy something, it is already bought at a very, very awesome price, and then only they should invest, because otherwise their goals will not be met, right? It's not a time for speculative investment. And unfortunately in last 6 months, like in January, November, December and January timeframe especially, what we observed was there was a lot of speculative investment which was happening in real estate.
Yes.
There were people who were ill-advised, and they were giving much more than what was the fair market value for a property. And unfortunately all of that has caused this inflation, and it was not called for. It happened. One other reason was that borrowing costs were so low.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that when you are buying a property, you should pay way beyond the fair market value of a property.
Yes.
And that's where a good agent always comes to your rescue, because they will never allow you to pay beyond a fair market value of property.
Right.
When you do that, your immunity as a buyer or as an investor goes out of the window. And when market saturates, you will come under stress, and then you will end up selling the property at a loss.
Right.
But in real estate, if you don't win, if you don't make money, then something wrong you are doing
Right.
in your purchase.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How about sellers?
Sellers also, it depends on what they want to do. So right now market is very saturated. So if you are if you're moving up, you're selling a property which is small and buying a bigger property, of course you will sell at a saturated price, but you will also get a much better price in your purchase.
Yes.
Because that will be a higher dollar value transaction.
Yes.
It will be even more saturated from your standpoint. So that's okay. So it's really very objective, based on the situation of the seller or buyer, where they are and where they want to aspirationally end. You should take a call and discuss, they should discuss with their good realtor, and he or she will be able to advise them.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Do you think that the recent hike in the real estate, in the real estate interest rates, are going to impact the market in the long term?
So it's question which everybody has, and we have seen that has already impacted in a big way the real estate prices. And mostly if you see closely the data for last 2 years, you will see that all of this saturation has happened on that speculative price increase which happened in November, December and January time frame. Right. So we are now talking in the prices what we had in July or August of 2021.
Okay.
So only that has vanished, and prices, and I can see in last 20-25 days buyers are again now willing to commit, and they are trying to buy and go ahead with their purchases.
Right.
There is kind of a buyer's fatigue which I have seen in last 20-25 days which has happened.
Okay.
Because they were waiting on the fringe for last 5 months to what to do, because there is upward pressure from the immigration and the higher interest rates, higher renting rates.
Yes.
The leasing has never been so aggressive what we have seen in last 6 to 8 months. The leasing rates have gone so high, be it condo, be it a freehold property. So that has caused upward pressure to buyers to get something of their own.
Yes.
Rather than giving a rent.
Yes.
And a high rent at that. So they want to commit now to purchase properties. So there is no problem in buying. It's just that you have to see, you buy a good asset at a good price, and you should have time horizon on your side.
Yes.
You should not do anything like I buy and then within 6 months I have to sell.
Yes.
This is not the time to do those kind of things, and if you have to do, it has to be done judiciously. You buy a property which is in absolutely worst state, so that you can improve the value of the property and then make money even in this market. Right. So but otherwise for a this is not the market for speculation. Yeah.
So lastly, the one question I want to ask is, what is the one change you would like to see or you would like to bring about in the real estate industry?
No, my whole mission about this real estate right from day one has been that when you work with a client, it should be top of the mind recall. Your work should say everything, and it should be just nothing but the best. And that's what I want. I want to change that perception that realtors are no good. I really don't like it, because I have seen in my whole career, in my training experience, if you are good, if you know what you are doing, you can make ton of difference in real estate transactions. And I want to ensure that we create more and more people who do awesome work when they are outside with their clients, and we dent that perception, and we build a brand equity, right? That these people are quality, they are supreme, they if I am with them, I'm good. So that's what I want to, that's the change which I want to bring. Alone I can do only so much. So now with team of qualified people and trained people and honest people, I think we can make that change slowly but surely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. And thank you so much, Mr. Mudit, for doing this interview.
Welcome, Sadhana. Thanks for your time and coming here today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.